How have you experienced bad human anatomy understanding? During a health class in college, a guy argued with the professor that pregnancy tests are basically overhyped mood rings and that women should just feel if they are pregnant. He couldn't grasp how hormones work and insisted that intuition should be enough. This, from a grown man in his 20s who somehow made it through the education system. It took peer-reviewed articles and a very patient professor to even begin to crack his conviction. Absolutely. Here's a comment that could fit well with the others. I once overheard a guy in a bar trying to lecture a group of women about how periods work. He was completely sure it was a controlled process, and that women could hold it in like urine. They tried correcting him, but he wouldn't have it. Needless to say, his date wasn't impressed by his expertise. I worked with a woman at a Halloween store who during our farewell dinner when the store was about to close for the season, legitimately asked the table if it was possible to get pregnant from swallowing cum, because she had recently swallowed her boyfriend's semen. Her reasoning was that she had recently heard a rap song that said something like "she's swallowing my babies." Once we stopped laughing, we explained to her the best of our abilities that no, it doesn't work like that. Adult sperm would die in your stomach, and more importantly, would have absolutely no contact with your reproductive organ. She was 21. 90% of the time when someone says vagina, they mean vulva. The vagina is the internal canal. You can't normally see a vagina. For example, I got into a full-blown fight with my ex one time because he was adamant that sperm came from the prostate and not the balls. Even after Googling it, he didn't believe me. Weirdest fight ever. I've spent a lot of time down there, but still cannot comprehend how women have 3 holes. I know this guy who waited until marriage with his wife to have sex, had a house party and drunkenly gave him an anatomy lesson. All the classics. Thought women urinated from the vagina, no understanding of what's what as far as terminology, and no idea where the clitoris was. It was funny. Then our gay friend chimed in and was like, I thought the vagina was just under the belly button. When I was young I thought men had another hole like the vagina that wasn't the asshole, because I couldn't understand how anal sex could be. A guy thinking women pee out of their vaginas. My husband is an AP instructor. He's got some stories. One that springs to mind right now is that a female student didn't know she had 2 holes down there besides the anus. You wouldn't believe it, but my buddy thought that the only reason women used pads and tampons was to avoid a mess during their time of the month. He genuinely had no clue about the whole menstrual cycle and cramps ordeal. Had to sit him down for a quick biology lesson, which was met with a lot of wait, really. Moments. Honestly, I'm not sure he's recovered from the revelation yet. Those bizarre charts that claim that like massaging parts of your feet can magically like make your liver feel better or like remove your neck pain or something. If I walk into like any sort of vitamin shop or massage parlor and see one of those, I'm just going to walk out. People thinking essential oil diffusers are medicine. I thought women pee with the clitoris for 20 years of my life. I'm a woman. During a small class we had 2 guys, one 18, one in his 20s. The teacher got a diagram and told us to label where the vagina is. Both labeled the anus as the vagina. I didn't have sex ed because my parents sent me to a religious school. The first time I saw pussy in real life I was so confused. I'll preface this with the fact that my wife is not a dumbass. We were discussing prostate cancer once in passing, and my wife said, I guess it's more prevalent in men. You don't hear about women getting it. I laughed really hard, told her to never say that in public, and then told her why. She also got a good laugh out of it. Unless you go into the medical field or do your own reading, our schools just doesn't go into anatomy very extensively. You think the average man knows what a vulva is? He doesn't. It's a failure of our system. In school, we were in sex ed, and one of the students asked if women put tampons in their ass as a genuine question. We were in junior year, mind you. I own a retail store and had a high school kid helping me one summer. He would carry things out for customers, price, sweep floors, and so forth. A young hippie lady was in one day and buying some heavy items, so I had him help her out to her car with her stuff. When he came in, he looked like he had seen a ghost. I asked what was wrong and he motioned for me to lean in. When I did, he whispered, that lady had hair under her arms. I had to explain to him that women grow hair, they're just like men, just that most he had ever seen shave them. He had no idea. A guy was talking about fingering her box. I asked where the box was. He couldn't explain. I drew it all in the dirt with a bottle cap. Labias majora and minora, clitoris. Described the G-spot, then asked which was the box. I looked up and found like 10 guys behind me waiting to ask questions. Mom was an obstinate,